Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today we are doing something a little bit different. The light is going to be absolutely atrocious because it is 9:30 at night, Monday the 13th, and I thought the Goodreads Choice Awards things weren't coming out until tomorrow, so I was planning on doing this tomorrow morning, but they're out now. Like, I can see all of them right now. So I wanted to definitely do this together so that I didn't look at them because it would be way too hard for me to not look at them. So I figured we would just do this right now and make it a very cozy video, and we're gonna go through all the categories and kind of my reaction and also what I'm going to be reading, because I like to do a Goodreads reading vlog. I just don't know which category I'm gonna do. Last year I did mystery thriller. There's a good chance it'll be mystery and thriller again, but there's also always a high chance it's going to be young adult fantasy, because I do read a lot of young adult. I have a lot of people on this channel who read young adult fantasy and just fantasy in general. So, and it could be adult fantasy as well. Kind of just depends what I'm feeling, what I kind of see myself liking the best. But anyway, let's actually get into who are the nominees this year. I am so excited. I feel like I haven't read a ton of really popular things, so I'm actually kind of nervous and interested to see what is on this list. Also, it's going to be a little bit funky because I'm looking at my computer here, but the thing's going to be behind me. So it's going to look a little bit weird. But we are going to be starting with the fiction category. Now, I don't read a ton of fiction. This is more just a interest to see what is in here and if I'm really surprised about anything. I'm not surprised that Shark Heart is in here. The Collected Regressive Clover, I'm not surprised. A lot of these are book of the month choices. I recognize a lot of these. Big Swiss was a big one that released this year that was like started off kind of quiet. It was an aardvark pick and has really taken off. A lot of people really like that one. I'm actually starting to see things that I have, but I have not read yet. I have the 5-Star Weekend, and I really should have read that by now. That was one that I really should have read. And I really should have read The Wishing Game. I've heard that one's amazing, but I'm also surprised it's not in fantasy. Like, I heard there's a fantasy aspect to it, so I feel like this is one of those that is kind of in between categories and they just stuck it where they thought worked better. I owned Yellowface, but I actually got rid of it because I was not a fan of the writing style in it. I thought it was just a little over the top. So I'm hoping I'll like Babel, I'll like that book more, because I heard they are totally different. So not really surprised about anything on here, but I also have not read anything on here yet. Moving on to historical fiction, I bet you money I have not read a single thing on here. I have Lady Tan's Circle of Women. I did read Wayward. I read Wayward, so I feel like I have to vote for that one, but I didn't really like it. So I feel like I actually shouldn't vote for this category either. That's the other thing. I'm going to be voting live here if it lets me, because again, it's not November 14th yet, but I'll let you know what I'm going to be voting for. I have Did You Hear About Kitty Carr? I have not read it yet, and that is all that I have in this category. So if I don't think I'm going to vote for it because I don't like Wayward, so I'm going to let people who liked books in this category actually vote. We're moving on to the mystery thriller category. This is where I should start seeing stuff that I've read, some stuff that is surprising, and I'm already surprised at something I've seen on here. I didn't know that Happiness Falls is a mystery thriller. I was under the impression that was a literary fiction book. What Lies in the Woods, I hated. I'm surprised it's on. Well, I'm not surprised it's on here because it was a book of the month pick and a lot of people read it, but it just wasn't very good. None of this is true. I'm not surprised. I've heard really good things about it. It is my book club pick for this month, so I'm excited to get to that one. Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice or Murders. I loved it. I'm shocked that it's on here because I don't think it did very well. I think a decent amount of people read it, but I doubt that one makes it through to the next round. Have not read the Karen I don't know if I've actually read a Karen Slaughter. I have 2 Karen Slaughters, but I haven't read any. Not surprised about the only one left. I haven't read The Housemaid's Secret because I haven't heard great things about it, but I know it's one that's picked for a lot of book clubs, so generally it has a high reading, like a lot of people have read it. So normally if you can, like, not, that's the thing. Goodreads is about just how many people are reading it, basically, and it's not just about like the constant readers who are like also on BookTube. So you have to keep that in mind when you're looking at these. So no, I'm not surprised The Housemaid's Secret is on here just because the volume of people who've probably read it because of The Housemaid. The Villa was awful. Again, not surprised it's on here, but I really loathe that one. Bright Young Women, I need to read. I have not heard The Maid's Diary. My worst book of the year is Most Likely I Have Some Questions for You. That is absolutely a horrendous book. Again, not really surprised it's on here, but it was horrible. It was actually one of the worst books I think I've ever read, and I read the rest of it. I should have DNF'd it, but I ended up not DNFing it. And the rest of them, oh, there's more. I thought that was it. I haven't read The Coworker, I haven't read Homecoming, I haven't read any of these until All the Dangerous Things I read and I did not like, which is sad because I gave Stacey Willingham's book last year, A Flicker in the Dark, 5 stars, and it was actually my pick. So I'm kind of sad. I haven't read as many as I thought I would have, and I didn't like really the ones that I read. I feel like the one that I liked best, it's between Vera Wong's and The Only One Left. Because again, the other ones that I read I didn't like. So I think I'm gonna go, man, I hate voting for Riley Sager because I feel like he's just gonna win by default. Oh, I guess the Maid one last year. I feel like, what did I like better? I think I liked The Only One Left better, but hopefully I'll read more of those. I do want to read more mystery thrillers, maybe. So that's definitely one that I could pick as my reading vlog. Next is romance. Again, I can tell you, I probably haven't read a single one of these. I own Hello Stranger, but I found out the premise and I was not a fan of the premise, so I haven't read it yet. I have the True Love Experiment. I read the first book in the Lauren Asher series, Final Offer, but I'm not continuing that series. I have The Long Game. I read Love Theoretically. We finally have gotten to one that we read. I actually really liked that one. I also own Romantic Comedy. I own Yours Truly, and that is it. I was gonna get You Again, but then I saw that it was like this big, and my attention span for romances is very small. But I really want to read Wildfire. I want to read The 7-Year Slip. Obviously, I want to read all the ones that I have. I also want to read Practice Makes Perfect, but otherwise, not super interested in any of these other ones. I do kind of want to read the Rebecca Yarros just to see if her, like, how different her romance is from her fantasy, because I think her writing is actually really good. So I feel like anything she writes could actually potentially be pretty good. So I would be interested in reading that one as well. But I think the easy winner and the only one I read, but I did like it, so I don't mind voting for it, is Love Theoretically. Next, we have Romantasy. That's new. That's new this year. They separated romantic fantasy and fantasy. That is definitely new this year. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, that's so exciting. Obviously, I read Fourth Wing, gave it a 5 star. I am currently reading The Hurricane Wars. I have Foxglove King. I have the first one, Serpent and the Wings, something of Ashes. It's such a long title. I have no interest in reading Jennifer L. Armentrout books. I have Throne of the Fallen. I have the Jasad Heir. I didn't know it was a romantic fantasy. That's a surprise. The Hanging City looked really cool. I like that cover, but I've never heard of it. I'm gonna put that on my want to read. Haven't heard of these. Zodiac Academy. Assistant to the Villain is a romantic fantasy. I own that, but I thought that was more science fiction for some reason. And then I haven't really heard of any of the rest. So, only a couple in here. There's nothing in here that I really want to read. I've only read Fourth Wing, but I did give it a 5 star, so I'm going to vote for it. And I feel like that one's going to win. Okay, now we're to regular fantasy. How are they gonna do this? I just want to see if Fourth Wing's on here. Okay, Fourth Wing is not on here. This is where I have read some things, I feel like. So I've read Trust in the Emerald Sea. I think I give it a 3.5. It's fine. Encyclopedia, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. 5 star. I absolutely love that book. I have The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi. I'm surprised The Unmaking of June Farrow is on here because, oh no, that has come out yet. I just haven't gotten in my book box yet. It's coming in a book box. I honestly haven't heard great things about The Book That Wouldn't Burn. I haven't read that one. I didn't like Legends and Lattes, so I'm not super excited about Bone Shops and Bone Dust. I kind of want to read Venko Coven. Let me add that because that one looks pretty cool. I can't read the V.E. Schwab because I haven't read the other ones, so I need to do A Darker Shade of Magic first. I have Witch King. I have Starling House. The Last Tale of the Flower Bride I gave a 4.25. I loved that book. That was fantastic. Inkblood Sister Scribe, Swordcatcher, and A Day of Fallen Night. I don't own A Day of Fallen Night, but I am going to read it. But I have the rest. And then I've obviously read Hellbent, and that was a 5-star. Ooh, this looks like a really good category. This is in the running. See, the problem is I can't read The Fragile Threads of Power, and that kind of like hurts my desire to read it. And I also don't want to read Atalanta, Stoneblind, or Clytemnestra because I don't tend to like Greek retellings. I just don't, and I don't think it's fair for me to read those when I know I'm probably not gonna like them. Ooh, I'm between Emily Wilde's and Hellbent. I think I actually liked Emily Wilde's better. Hellbent is a soft 5-star. Ninth House would have easily won this category for me if that was what was out, but I think I'm gonna go with Emily Wilde's. I really, really loved that book. Science fiction, probably haven't read any of these. I probably have some of them. Oh, Chain Gang All-Stars, I DNF'd. I have Starter Villain. I have Ascension. I have Some Desperate Glory. I have In the Lives of Puppets. Oh, and I haven't heard great things about The Ferryman, so I haven't read that one because that was on my list to read, but I haven't read it yet. And I've heard interesting things about The Marriage Act. I still kind of want to read that one. I originally wanted to read Bridge, but I have not heard good things about it. And I'm still way behind on any of the Pierce Brown stuff. So I've not read anything in here, so I'm gonna skip this category, but I definitely want to read In the Lives of Puppets. I was gonna say by the end of this year, but I feel like that's not gonna happen. Okay, we are on to horror. Might be luckier in here. Not looking great. What, did I read anything this year? Like, did I actually read anything this year? I have Silver Nitrate. I want to read The September House. I gave Don't Fear the Reaper a 2. I DNF'd Mr. Magic. I haven't really heard anyone talk about Monstralia. Is that one even out yet? I don't know if that's out yet. Published, it just says published in 2023. I own Black Sheep. I thought I wanted to read Our Share of Night, but I've become less interested in that one. Dead 11, same thing. I thought I wanted to read it, but my interest has waned. I DNF Lone Women. I kind of want to read Rouge just because everyone hates it. And I didn't like Bunny, and people who liked Bunny don't like Rouge, so I'm like, maybe I like Rouge because I didn't like Bunny. The Reformatory is tempting, but it sounds so depressing, the people I've heard talk about it, that I'm just like, I don't know. That one would take some building up to get to. I read A House with Good Bones. We read that earlier for a book club. I think I gave it a 3.75, I think. Vampires of El Norte, I just DNF for our book club. I don't really read Stephen King. I have My Darling Girl, and I gave How to Sell a Haunted House 2 stars. So do I have any on here that I would vote for? Oh man, I definitely wouldn't vote for Don't Fear the Reaper. I feel like I would vote for A House with Good Bones. I honestly did enjoy that. It was definitely not one of her better books, but the storyline was interesting. There were some very interesting parts in it. So I'm feel fine voting for that one. Young adult fantasy and science fiction. This is where my dreams and hopes are. That I'm gonna have read like most of these, and then this is what I can pick as my category. Oh, okay. That first line's not starting off great. I haven't even heard of Powerless. Literally haven't even heard of that. Threads That Bind, I gave a 4.25. That was one of our book club picks. Delicious Monsters is on my list to read. I just haven't gotten to it. Same thing for Bring Me Your Midnight. I also want to read that. I want to read Blood Debts. I gave Divine Rivals a 3 stars. I was not a fan of that one. Foxglove. Oh, so there it is. Second book in a series. I would have to read Belladonna first, which I have, and then I would have to read Foxglove. So that makes me like not want to do that. I also didn't know that House of Marion was a young adult book. I thought that was an adult fantasy book, or I actually thought it kind of was like adult horror. So now I'm like even more confused, but I do have that on my list. The Scarlet Veil. That's what I was afraid of being on here. I would have to finish Blood and Honey, and what is it Blood and Honey? I'd have to finish the Serpent and Dove series, which I still have 2 books left of because I keep putting off the second book, to then read The Scarlet Veil, which I'm like, That's not great. And then we have A Curse for True Love. I read that. That was a 5-star. Study in Drowning, I just read. That was a 2-star. These Infinite Threads, see, another one. I would have to read This Woven Kingdom first to then read these Infinite Threads. Song of Silver Flame Like Night. See, and this is this is why this category doesn't work. There's too many things that I would need to read the first book of. It just doesn't work. I have all these books though. That is the good thing. The only two that I don't have a bunch of the ones at the top. But I have Song of Silver Flame Like Night. I have Foul Heart Huntsman, but I haven't even read the first one yet. I have Silver in the Bone. I have Chain of Thorns, but I'm way behind in that series. That one would just have to be omitted completely. I read The Stolen Heir. I think I gave it 3.5 or 4 stars. I wasn't super impressed with it. I have Spice Road. I'm going to be getting What the River Knows in a book box. And then I have House of Roots and Ruin. I want to do this category, but there's so, like, I can't do Chain of Thorns. I can't do Chain of Thorns. I would not be able to do that. I would have to read like 6 Shadowhunter books to do that one. Foul Heart Huntsman I could do because I'm supposed to read Foul Lady Fortune and Foul Heart Huntsman by the end of this year, so I could potentially do that one. It is on my list to start. Oh man, but these books are so chunky. This Woven Kingdom, again, I could probably do that one just because it's only 2 books and not like a ton. Foxglove and Belladonna. And Scarlet Veil, that is the one that is really keeping me, like that one and Chain of I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna end up reading mystery and thriller again. Man, I was hoping it would be this category. I guess, again, let me go back to fantasy. Fantasy, I have that one. I have that one coming. I have that one. I've never even heard of that one. I have that one. I would have to skip Fragile Threads of Power. Oh yeah, the problem was these, and I'm not reading that for this. I'm not reading that. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. This is a mess. Okay, what do I want to vote for? I feel like Threads. Oh no, it's got to be A Curse for True Love, right? Yeah. Curse for True Love, that's a pretty easy one. That was the only 5-star. So that is that. Moving on to young adult fiction. I probably haven't read that many in here. Although this could also be an option. This could be an option. I haven't heard of this one. I don't have any desire to read this. I'm done with that series. Even though I liked the first 2, there was too much space between the last 2 and this one. I read Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. What did I give it? Oh, for some reason it's like not logged in. It should be logged in. I read this one earlier this year. I think I gave it a 4. I read this one, also yeah, there it is, 4. Why did I not have this one rated? Like, that should be rated. That's very weird. Okay, so Davenport's gave a 4 and I actually really liked. Suddenly a Murder, I think I DNF'd. This Time Is Real, I actually really want to read. Together We Rot, I DNF'd. Pride and Prejudice in Pittsburgh, that sounds kind of good. I read 5 Survive and I think I gave it a 3. It was fine. I give probably 3.5 then. I know I didn't give it a 4. 9 Liars, haven't read the rest of them. I hate that you can have like later books in the series. I really hate that you can do that because it's just difficult for like these challenges where you want to catch up on them and it's hard to vote for them when you don't know. So yeah, I'm not anywhere in this series. I DNF'd The Brothers Hawthorne. I'm done with that series. I haven't heard of We Deserve Monuments. Immortality, a Love Story, I did read earlier this year. I think I gave it 3.5. Rounded up to a 4. Imogen, obviously. This is one of the best books that I read this year. This was an easy 5-star. I am obsessed with this book. I really need to buy a physical copy of it. I absolutely loved it. That's probably going to be what I'm voting for. I haven't heard of the next 2. I haven't heard of that one. Check and Mate, I literally just read. It is going to be my November wrap-up. I gave it... I feel like I shouldn't say what I gave it because it's not good. It's not... Well, I gave it a 2.5. I think I rounded up to a 3 because I liked the ending. I think it was just... No, I think I gave it 2.5. It's a 2.5. I think in my thing I rounded up to a 3, but it's a 2.5. What Happens After Midnight, I wanted to read, and I've heard terrible things about never ever getting back together, but I still want to read it. This actually is looking like a pretty good category, minus the 9 Liars book. But do I really want to read a bunch of, like, young adult just fiction? I tend to like fantasy a lot better. Anyway, I'm gonna vote for Imogen, obviously. That's again an easy one. Debut novel. This could be interesting. I don't want to read Shark Heart. I'm already out. There's already too many things I'm not interested in. Again, the only one that I've read is Wayward, and I DNF Chain Gang All Stars, so that's a skip. Nonfiction, unless there's memoirs separately. I don't read nonfiction really, so I haven't read any of their. Okay, memoir. I've been trying to read more memoirs and autobiographies. Elliot Page's one is on my list. Thicker Than Water is on my list by Kerry Washington. Paris, the memoir, is on my list. Britney Spears already read it 5 stars. It was amazing. I cannot say that enough about that book. It was so good. Spare is on my list, but it's not high up. And Love, Pamela is actually pretty high up on my list. So this is an easy Britney Spears 100% for the win. I shouldn't have any history or biography, although I do want to read The Wager. That is on my list to read. Otherwise, yeah, there's nothing on there. I don't think anything in humor either. I don't like this type of humor. I like humor in books, but not like just humor books. Although Leslie Jones, that one is tempting. I thought that would be in memoir autobiography. That one is very tempting. Okay, we have come to the problem of what vlog am I going to do? So mystery thriller, if I choose to do mystery thriller, oh man, the Karen Slaughter is in the Will Trent series, so that also makes me not want to read it. How many in? 11? It's 11 in. So I wouldn't be able to do that one. So that's already one I wouldn't be able to do. So none of this is true. Good Bad Girl, The River We Remember, The Leftover Woman, Happiness Falls, Homecoming. I'm not reading the Richard Osman. I DNF that series. Bright Young Women, The Maid's Diary, The Coworker, oh my goodness, The Housemaid's Secret, All the Sinners Bleed, Don't Let Her Stay. That's 12. I'd have to read 12 books. Oh, I don't like that. I'd have to read 12. That seems like the easiest one to do though, because I think all the other ones are more. So romantasy is another option, but I don't think there's enough in here that I'm even interested in. I'd have to read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, because that's a series. Oh no. Nope. I wouldn't read that one. I wouldn't read this one. I did DNF this series though. I did read the first one. I wasn't interested in that one. I'm just not interested in most of these. So no. So this is definitely out. Fantasy, I would not read A Day of Fall Night. I wouldn't do it. So, and I wouldn't want to read Atlanta either. Atalanta. Venco, Victory City. I'm not reading Clytemnestra. I guess I can like, if I can get them on audio, or not audiobook, but through Libby, I can like be like, oh, maybe I want to read that, or like read the first chapter. Oh yeah, someone did read The Will of Many, and it did not seem like one I wanted to read either. I'm having a bad time. I'm having a really bad, but then there's like some down here that I'm like, yes, I do want to read. So I don't know. So it would be Venco, Victory City, The Adventures of Amina El-Sarafi, Starling House, The Unmaking of June Farrow, The Books That Wouldn't Burn, Witch King, Bookshops and Bone Dust. I couldn't do The Fragile Threads of Power, Inkblood Sister Scribe, and Sword Catcher. So is that 10? That's 10. But that would be much more incomplete category, which I don't like. Science fiction, I don't have enough in there. I just don't like horror enough to put myself through a whole reading vlog for horror. Young adult fiction and fantasy. This is the one that's killing me. I feel like this is the category I want to do. I would have to read This Woven Kingdom and then These Infinite Threads. I'm skipping the Shadowhunters one. I just can't do it. House of Marion, Silver in the Bone, Song of Silver, Flame Like Night. So that's 5. Bring Me Your Midnight, Delicious Monsters, Blood Debts, House of Roots and Ruin, the 2 Chloe Gong, which I had to read anyway, Powerless, What the River Knows, Spice Road, Belladonna, Foxglove. So it's 11, not counting this series. I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do it. And obviously as we get through, because what are the categories? Let's go to the main page. Okay, so this round is through the 26th. So I'm going to read the ones that I think will make it through. And then if any of them don't, like, if I don't read any that don't make it through, I'm not gonna read them. So the ones I'll probably prioritize are obviously the ones that I own. And let's see. So I'll probably read, the Chloe Gongs are gonna make it through, or the Chloe Gong is gonna make it through. So I'm probably gonna prioritize that one. I'm gonna prioritize What the River Knows, House of Roots and Ruin. I definitely think all of those are gonna make it through. I'm not sure about the other ones, potentially Belladonna and Foxglove. So we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. I'm gonna start tomorrow because it is 10 o'clock now and I'm reading something else. I'm finishing something else up right now. So we're gonna start this tomorrow. Ooh, man. And I'm probably going to start with the Chloe Gong. Oh, man. What am I putting myself through? I keep going back to Romantasy because I'm currently reading the Hurricane Wars, but I don't like anything else in there. It would have to be fantasy. No, we're going to do the young adult. I have most of those books. I'm interested in most of those books. And we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens. Okay, that is my opening of the Goodreads Choice Awards of 2023. I am very nervous. I am very nervous. We are going to be reading the young adult fantasy science fiction category. I don't really see any science fiction in there. Did you see any science fiction in there? I'm pretty sure it's all fantasy now that I look at it. Maybe House of Marion is science fiction. I don't know enough about it. I don't see any science fiction in there. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do that because I did mystery last year and I want to change it up. I want to change it up. And I think this will be fun. And it'll knock out a lot of my books that I have, which that is like the goal of the rest of this year. So, oh man, this is nerve-wracking. This is really, really nerve-wracking. So I hope you guys enjoyed my honest reaction to these. I feel like I wasn't that surprised. A couple of things I was surprised by, but otherwise, yeah, it kind of seemed like everything I was expecting. So yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the Goodreads Choice Awards. Everyone's most exciting time. It's like Christmas for book lovers. This is our Super Bowl. This is our Super Bowl. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. Make sure you subscribe so you catch that vlog later and things going on with Goodreads Choice Awards, because I'm sure I'll do more updates as we go on. And yeah, that's everything I have for you today. So make sure you comment down below if you're surprised about any of the books which you're voting for, etc. And I will see you guys in the next video.